Welcome to the past HSC exam question videos. What I'll do in a second is I'll read the actual question. The question is 25. Question 25 and it's worth 3 marks. But what I'll do is I'll read the question. Once I've read the question, about 5 seconds to pause the video. Once you have paused the video, attempt the question and then press play when you're ready. And then afterwards, I'll go over the actual marking guidelines for this question and also a sample answer to show you how you could have answered that question to get full marks. But the question itself is, epidemiological studies indicate that there's a relationship between smoking and the incidences of lung cancer. What information would have been gathered to establish this relationship? And that's worth 3 marks. So when you're ready, pause the video and attempt the question. Welcome back. Alright, so first thing that you probably notice is there's no obvious verb. Usually you might have like an identify or a list kind of verb that would help you to know exactly what you're meant to do, whereas here there's no, the only one you have is gathered, but that's not really a one that's often seen, right? So there's no obvious verb, which means you should already be careful, right? So if you've only listed something down, even though it would suggest that might be good enough, because it didn't say list or identify, you should have maybe written a bit more, right? So the marking guidelines say to get full marks, so 3 marks are 3. What you should do is first identify characteristics of sound epidemiological study. So here you're just saying what kind of characteristics do epidemiological studies generally look at? Like what do they look like, these studies, and what do they do, right? And then link the type of data that you need to the relationship between smoking and lung cancer. So if you just list, you might have gotten a few marks, maybe one at most 2, but you meant to list basically and explain, or not explain, but identify some of those features and also make links between those features and the and lung cancer, right? So I'll give you my sample answer to make maybe my point. What I first saw is this is just some of generally what epidemiological studies look like. I mean, epidemiological studies rely on the collection of relevant data about the occurrence and prevalence of a particular disease, and a statistical analysis of this data to draw a conclusion in terms of regards to the cause of disease, right here. So we collect data, we analyze data, and then we can figure out what's causing what disease. Again, a statement that could be useful. Probably wasn't a super requirement, but if you have enough time and you kind of know you want to bring your point across, then that might be a good starting statement. And then but quickly go into the actual question. And the question itself was this. So the type of data that should have been gathered include the age/gender of the participants. Older age is often linked to more cases of lung cancer, as individuals have been smoking for an extended period of time, significantly increase the risk of getting lung cancer from smoking. So here I just say basically that if we know if these individuals are older age or younger age, and usually people who suffer from lung cancer are older age, so you generally want to focus on collecting data from older age individuals, right? So by knowing that, we can make sure that we can kind of, if people are smoking a lot in their younger age, then they might be at risk of lung cancer, but they won't develop lung cancer for quite some time. So by collecting different types of data, such as age and gender, we can have a better understanding of the cause of disease. That's one example. I've given the information, but I've said how we can relate that to lung cancer. And this is probably the one that's a bit more obvious. So this is the one that most of you probably would have written about. Information on the risk factors of smoking should have included types such as how much type of cigarettes smoked, amount of cigarettes smoked, exposure to passive smoking, etc., etc. So there would have been a couple more, amount of years of smoking. All of these factors should be also collected, as all of these factors can contribute to the development of lung cancer that would have been caused by smoking, right? So basically you want to collect all that data, because this data could help you to show, is there a relationship or is no relationship between lung cancer and smoking. And so basically, just here in this case, when you get full marks, definitely do the whole idea of saying what you think in terms of information should be collected, but also say why, how that would help you make the link to the lung cancer. And you could have also had a quick statement in terms of what epidemiological studies tend to do, which is collect relevant data, important data, and then analyze the data to make the link between cause and disease. But that actual question came from this dot point. Gather, process, and analyze information to identify the cause and effect relationship between smoking and lung cancer. That was the main one. And the other one was the epidemiological one, which was just beforehand. but hopefully that was useful.